News Central now at this hour begins with developments on the suspension of Kogi Central Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan as we understand that the senator has alleged that Nigerian security officials are planning to arrest her upon her return to Nigeria. According to news reports online, she revealed concerns over her participation in the Inter-Parliamentary Union meeting in New York on March 11. Akpoti-Uduaghan spoke out about her Senate suspension and allegations of sexual harassment against Senate President Godswill Akpabio. Reports suggest that Nigeria's security agencies, including the SSS and NRA, are investigating how she attended the IPU meeting without official approval. The IPU has vowed to investigate her claims, but will also hear the Nigerian Senate's response. Meanwhile, the Socio-Economic Rights and Accountability Project has sued Senate President Godswill Akpabio over the suspension of Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan. Filed at the Federal High Court in Abuja, the suit challenges the 6-month suspension, calling it patently unlawful and a violation of her fundamental rights. SERAP argues that the suspension deprives her constituents of representation and is an attack on free speech. The group seeks a court order to reinstate Akpoti-Uduaghan and prevent further disciplinary actions against her. The senator was suspended for allegedly speaking without permission and refusing a new seat in the chamber. No hearing date has been set. Now, this week, Senate proceedings addressed major legislative developments, security concerns, and political controversies. From by-elections to security interventions and debates on electoral reforms, News Central's National Assembly correspondent, Sagir Ibrahim, brings a recap of key highlights from the Red Chamber this week.
The week by addressing vacant seats in the Red Chamber. They directed the Independent National Electoral Commission to conduct by-elections in Anambra South and Edo Central following the death of Senator Ifeanyi Ubah and the election of Senator Monday Okpewolo as Edo State Governor.
And we urge INEC to immediately conduct, in line with the Constitution, elections to fill those 2 vacancies.
It also called on INEC to implement the Supreme Court ruling restoring the Aniocha 2 state constituency in Delta State following a motion by Delta North Senator Ned Nwoko to ensure fair representation for the affected constituency.
The delay in implementing the Supreme Court judgment undermines the rule of law, disenfranchising the people of the affected towns, and also denying them proper representation in Delta State House of Assembly.
Insecurity in Benue State also dominated discussions. The Senate called for urgent action, urging the Benue State government to enforce its open grazing and ranching laws to prevent further clashes.
The inability of the present administration in Benue State to enforce the law has exposed members of the National Assembly from Benue State to undue pressure and name-calling by our constituents.
No demonstration of empathy has been shown by the government of Benue State. Those of us elected on the platform of this Senate are endangered species because our communities think, and unfortunately very wrongly, that it is our responsibility to provide security.
On electoral reforms, the Senate passed for second reading a bill seeking to amend the Electoral Act to provide for early voting. Sponsor of the bill, Abdulaziz Yaradua, explained that the amendment aims to allow essential service providers like security agents, journalists, and electoral officials to vote before Election Day. Amid these developments, the Senate passed a vote of confidence on its president, Godswill Akpabio, following allegations of sexual harassment leveled against him by suspended Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan. Majority Leader Kweyemi Bamidele emphasized the need to put the matter to rest, describing it as a distraction from the Senate's constitutional mandate.
We need to concentrate. There is work to be done, and we need to concentrate on our mandate, regardless of what anybody might say, Mr. President. We do not only stand united around our mandate, but that we also communicate this clearly to members of the Nigerian public, by moving a vote of confidence in the Senator Godswill Akpabio leadership of this Senate.
With legislative decisions addressing security, electoral reforms, and political controversies, this week's Senate proceedings underscored efforts to maintain order in governance. In Abuja for News Central, I'm Sagir Ibrahim.
We now head to Rivers State, where a political analyst, Mahmoud Jega, says Rivers State Chief Judge Justice Simeon Amadi is the main obstacle preventing the State Assembly from impeaching Governor Siminalayi Fubara. Speaking on television, Jega claimed lawmakers loyal to FCT Minister Nyesom Wike are setting traps for Fubara to justify his removal. The lawmakers, led by Martin Amaule, recently won a Supreme Court case restoring their legislative powers. On Thursday, they locked the governor out of the assembly, citing lack of notice for his budget presentation. Jega warned that the lawmakers are now targeting Justice Amadi, who they accuse of falsifying his age to clear the path for impeachment proceedings.
And from all indication, I don't think there is any ground for impeachment as it is now, except to look at it politically, not legally. The Constitution states grounds upon which a governor can be impeached in Rivers State. And you could recall that immediately the Supreme Court judgment was issued or was delivered, in less than 24 hours, the State House of Assembly issued an ultimatum to the governor to submit or present the budget. And the second letter again has to do with sacking of his commissioners. And from the public domain, which I believe is also, we will say they are sketching facts, the governor has made several efforts to meet or to reach out to the current Rivers State House of Assembly, and is to no avail. And at the same time, again, you could see some constitutional breach, because this is the first time in the history of Nigeria where a house can adjourn sine die. That word are basically used in the legal court, not in the legislative.
Staying in Rivers State, the Kalabari people, who are of the Ijaw Nation, have held a civic reception to honor the FCT Minister Nyesom Wike. Now, the event, a thanksgiving for the Supreme Court ruling on Rivers' political affairs, comes just 3 days after the minister described the Ijaw people as minority during a media chat. News Central correspondent Biola Festus has more.
Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, arrives in Abalama, a stronghold of the Rivers Ijaws, in grand style, amidst protests by the Ijaw Youth Council, Eastern Zone.
Police don't share tear gas, or police don't shoot tear gas.
The civic reception is happening despite warnings from several quarters to dissuade organizers from inviting the minister to Kalabari, and Ijaw stronghold. Addressing his teeming supporters, Wike clarifies that he is on the side of the Ijaws and supports their desire of producing a governor.
What you have done today is to tell the world all this noise in the radio is not the real thing. You are the Calabaris, you are your Ijaw nation, and you are receiving me today.
It recalls the uproar elicited by his recent media conference, which had put stakeholders of the Ijaw ethnic nationality at edge.
What I said on my interview, people will want to misinterpret. Whatever they want to misinterpret is their business. What I said is this, and I want to repeat it. We are all working together. If we don't work together, it will be difficult to produce a government.
Commenting on the feud between him and the governor Siminalayi Fubara, the FCT minister asserts that the governor has been having a tea party with those who never meant well for his government. He boasts that Governor Fubara's woes are far from ending.
I served with people who wanted to be governor, whom I said no, this wouldn't mean well for Rivers State. Now, they are the ones surrounding you,
giving you advice. Why do you think you will succeed? They will give you bad and see what the bad advice is doing to you. You're already down 2-0. 2-0. I'm more to go.
Stakeholders in Kalabari recount the FCT minister's benevolence to their ethnicity, describing them as indications of his indiscriminatory attributes.
As a two-term governor, you gave everything to Rivers people. Not only in terms of unparalleled development, but also positively changing the dynamics of inter-ethnic relationships through enhancing strategic collaboration among the ethnic groups in the state. You protected, defended, and gave a sense of belonging to every ethnic group in the state. The Ijos cannot thank you enough in this regard.
I hear people say, Ijo, Asawana. It's who made the Ijo governor? Yes, we made the Ijo governor for the first time in our history. We are not the only ones in Niger Delta. We are a small fraction of the Niger Delta. We have other ethnic nationalities that make up the Niger Delta. And we need them to be able to survive and exist as the people of the Ijo people.
Meanwhile, the Ijo Youth Council had staged an early morning anti-Wike protest at the entrance of the community where the reception was holding, in response to the comments made by the FCT minister that the Ijos are minority in Rivers State. In Asari Toru, for News Central, Biola Festus.
Now to an update on the Kano Emirate tussle. Despite the Kano State government's insistence that the appeal court did not nullify Sanusi's reinstatement as Emir of Kano, the camp of deposed Ado Bayero, led by Aminu Badagry, said their principal remains the authentic Emir of Kano pending the judgment of the Apex Court. Speaking to journalists in Kano, Badagry called on the general public to discountenance the comments by the Kano State Attorney General and wait for the Supreme Court's judgment. Also addressing journalists in Kano shortly after the ruling, Haruna Dederi, the State's Attorney General and Commissioner for Justice, said the ruling does not invalidate the reinstatement of Lamido Sanusi as the 16th Emir of Kano. In a ruling delivered on Friday, the appeal court temporarily held off on enforcing its own judgment, overturning a ruling of the Federal High Court invalidating the Kano State government's appeal of the 2019 Emirate Council law.
The respected panel of justices heard and granted the application for stay pending the hearing and determination of the existing appeal before the Supreme Court. This is normal and usual routine because it happens when any party wishes to maintain the status quo in a given matter pending the determination of a substantive appeal. It is, however, worrisome seeing the various captions and headlines deliberately intended to mislead the general public by misrepresenting the facts. We hereby use this medium to call upon those involved in these negative and destructive misrepresentations to desist from interfering in judicial processes. The judiciary, as a sacred institution, must be jealously respected and guarded for the preservation of peace and orderliness of society.
An injunction is hereby granted, restraining the respondents herein name either themselves, their agent, previous servants, or personal representatives from imposing the judgment of this court. And they cited the number of the case.
We'll take a break now. When we come back, we'll tell you how News Central emerges fastest rising television station at Independent Awards 2024. Details of this and more in a moment. Stay with us. Welcome back and thank you for staying with us. The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, says it has recovered over 365.4 billion naira and secured 4,111 convictions in 2024, according to the Commission's Executive Chairman, Oyeleye Omotayo. Now, speaking at the end of a three-day retreat in Uyo, Omotayo attributed the Commission's success to the dedication and professionalism of its staff, pledging to exceed these achievements in 2025. He emphasized the importance of integrity in the fight against corruption and assured that a revamped EFCC will emerge in the coming months. Legal experts Femi Falana, SAN, praised the EFCC's progress, while Professor Tony Iridia highlighted the need for more public involvement and correct perceptions of the Commission's work. Similarly, the chairman of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, Oyeleye Omotayo, has called for greater commitment, integrity and professionalism from operatives of the Commission as it intensifies efforts to combat economic and financial crimes in the country. Speaking after a three-day management retreat for EFCC directors in Uyo, Akwa Ibom State, Omotayo stressed that the agency's effectiveness depends on the integrity and professionalism of the workforce. The EFCC boss commended the dedication of the operatives in achieving some milestones in 2024 and urged them to redouble their efforts to surpass last year's record. Omotayo urged them to redouble their efforts and uphold the integrity of the Commission's processes. News Central Television has clinched the fastest rising television station of the year 2024 at the Independent Newspaper's annual awards ceremony. The ceremony had dignitaries from all spheres of human endeavor in attendance to celebrate distinguished men, women, and institutions that made the year 2024 remarkable in their various spheres. The nominations, which were determined by the Independent Board of Editors, took cognizance of the verifiable achievements of the awardees in line with the theme of this year's edition, celebrating landmark accomplishments. The award was received by Managing Director and Editor-in-Chief of News Central, Kayode Akintemi, accompanied by the top management staff.
Wide and engaged Pan-African audience through their presence on DSTV channel 422. Go TV to the future of their communities. At News Central, information isn't just consumed, they are a springboard for action and impact and progress. They are approaching them access to more than 2 million monthly viewers.
News Central TV, congratulations.
The Lagos State government has announced that the Independence Mekwen Bridge inbound Marina CMS route would be closed for emergency repairs from Wednesday, March 19 to Monday, May 26, 2025. Now, the closure will affect traffic from the National Open University of Nigeria through Bonny Camp Bridge to Independence Bridge. During this period, the Bonny Camp Underpass Bridge service lane will also be closed, but the service lane from Ahmadu Bello Way to Ozumbambadi Way will remain open. Motorists heading to Victoria Island and 3rd Mainland Bridge are advised to use alternative routes such as Ozumbambadi Way Avenue and Alfred Rwani Road. The Lagos State Traffic Management Authority, LASMA, will manage traffic during this time. The 272 Delta pilgrims who embarked on a spiritual journey to Israel and Jordan have returned to Nigeria, enriched by their experiences of renewal and reflection at sacred sites. During their time in the Holy Land, the pilgrims offered prayers for Nigeria's leaders and states, particularly as the country moves towards the 2027 elections. News Central's Austin Azu, who accompanied the group, reports on their 10-day pilgrimage.
The 272 Delta pilgrims departed from Port Harcourt International Airport, Nigeria, and arrived at Queen Aliam International Airport in Amman, Jordan, where they were greeted by an unfamiliar climate. Each day began with traditional morning devotion, followed by breakfast before visiting the holy sites. Lunch was served at noon and dinner at sunset ahead of the evening devotion. One of the first significant sites visited was Mount Menkares in Madaba, Jordan, believed to be the location where John the Baptist was imprisoned and executed. With the assistance of tour guides, the pilgrims explored the site's historical significance.
So we are here to view the site and to pray for our state and the governor and his cabinet. We're also here to pray for our family and the church at large.
This is Mount Nebo, where Moses saw the promised land. However, other significant events actually took place here. And one of them is this statue you are seeing over there that was erected to dissuade those Israelites for going into sin.
In this same area that the children of Israel committed all this thing they did, and God released serpents, fiery serpents, to kill them, to poison them. And then when he did that, they cried to Moses, and Moses cried to God, and God forgave them and gave the brazen serpent. He said, mold the brazen serpent and lift it up. And when you lift it up, whoever looks onto it after being bitten by the serpent shall be saved.
In Jerusalem and Bethlehem, the pilgrims walked the Via Dolorosa, tracing the 14 stations of the cross, symbolizing key events from Jesus' journey to Golgotha. They also visited the Garden Tomb, believed to be the site of Jesus' crucifixion and burial. At the Wailing Wall, the pilgrims offered prayers for themselves, their families, Delta State Governor Sheriff Oborewori, President Bola Tinubu, and Nigeria as a whole.
So a lot of prayers have been done, and I can tell you that pilgrims in this pilgrimage have imbibed a lot of the qualities of Jesus Christ.
This is River Jordan, where Jesus was baptized by John the Baptist. You can see some individuals who are there already receiving their baptism, confirming their faith in Christianity.
Other key sites included Shepherd's Field, the Church of the Nativity, the Mount of Olives, Pastor Noster, where Jesus taught the Lord's Prayer, and the Garden of Gethsemane. At Jericho, the pilgrims took a cable car to the mountaintop, where Jesus is believed to have fasted for 40 days and nights before being tempted by Satan, marking the beginning of his ministry.
This is the Sea of Galilee, where Jesus walked on water and performed other miracles. The pilgrims are here to observe other spiritual rebirth and undertake a boat cruise.
This was the same scene that storm came, and Jesus commanded the storm to be still, and the storm becomes still.
We prayed on the boat for Delta, for Mr. President, for our country, Nigeria, that every storm in our country, in our state, be still. And we also pray for the development of Delta.
The journey continued to the Mount of Beatitudes, Tocha, and Campanile, among other significant biblical sites. At the end of the pilgrimage, a brief ceremony was held at Tabatos, where the pilgrims received their Jerusalem pilgrimage ranks and certificates.
The governor of Delta State writes, Honorable Dr. Sheriff Oborewori, without whose support we will not be gathered here.
Some of the pilgrims reflected on their experiences, sharing what they would miss most about the Holy Land and the lessons Nigeria leaders could learn from the countries they visited.
I personally have benefited because I've stepped on where Jesus walked on, and by my faith, whatever that is in my heart will be done and be approved by God Almighty.
My message to Nigerians and debtors in particular, we must be disciplined.
We must be involved in doing things that are positive, doing the right thing at the right time.
We go better say as we reach Nigeria, everybody make it change. Those good things when we don't see for here, we will begin practice them. Because as we pray for new Nigeria, so now one person go starter. You do your new things, I do my new things. We join them together. Nigeria go dey turn.
What we have heard here, we should use it to impact our communities, impact our families, impact our offices, our businesses, on the highway of life with the word of God.
Upon their return to Nigeria, the Executive Secretary of the Delta State Pilgrims Welfare Board, Very Reverend Father Christopher Ekabo, provided an overview of the pilgrimage, assessing the conduct of the participants and confirming that all had returned safely.
From Delta State, we left the 272 pilgrims, and to the honor and glory of God, we came back with the 272, to the honor and glory of God.
It is hoped that the returning pilgrims will apply the lessons learned during their spiritual journey to positively impact their lives and society. In Delta for News Central, Austin Azu.
Away from Jerusalem, Nigerians are now exploring compressed natural gas as an alternative to petrol. On Thursday, the Surulere local government organized a free CNG training for mechanics in the area, introducing them to CNG as well as giving them the much-needed pre-training. News Central's Bettina Nweli reports on the environmental and economic advantages of compressed natural gas or CNG over traditional petrol as a fuel for vehicles.
Compressed natural gas, commonly known as CNG, is emerging as a viable alternative to petrol, offering both environmental and cost benefits. Vehicles powered by CNG emit significantly lower levels of harmful pollutants compared to those running on petrol. This results in reduced air pollution, contributing to cleaner air and a healthier environment. Additionally, CNG combustion produces fewer greenhouse gases, aiding in the fight against climate change.
Most advantage related to people, to drivers, is the cost saving. It can save like up to 70% of fuel cost. In Nigeria, I think the cost saving for driving is around 60%. This is one. The second one, CNG is a clean gas. It emits less waste and less CO2, less nitric oxides, which is environmentally friendly. So basically the disadvantage is it occupies some of the original car space and it adds weight to the original car.
Earlier this week, a free CNG training was organized by the Surulere local government in Lagos State, Nigeria, for mechanics in the area, some of who had this to say.
This work has gone beyond just loose and tight. So I feel coming here will impart more knowledge to me because I really want to do more.
According to one English proverb says, we learn every day. I still learn something that I don't think that I can learn in my life today. Because from petrol to gas, and in fact, from today, I would like it to continue.
The economic advantage of switching to CNG are notable. The Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited has been at the forefront of promoting this alternative and have inaugurated 11 new CNG stations across strategic locations in Abuja and Lagos.
At the local government level, we have a lot of our constituents who are into various trades and such as mechanics, carpentry, upholstery, fridge and air condition engineer. So what we just want to do is to impact knowledge onto our constituents who are artisans.
This is very rare to all the other local governments in Lagos State, as far as I'm concerned. I remember that I've never seen any other local government chairman bringing up this kind of good gesture to his mechanics in his domain. So this is very important to me as a person, maybe as a mechanics one, then as the head of technicians and artisans in Surulere as well.
Adopting CNG as a fuel alternative offers both environmental and economic benefits, making it a compelling option for motorists considering a switch from petrol. In Lagos, for News Central, Bettina Nweli.
For some young Nigerian students, spelling is more than just a skill. It is a test of knowledge and a path to excellence. News Central Omolola Ololade captures the Spelling Bee Nigeria finals, where the best young spellers across the country went on an intense spelling competition.
The language of wider communication, English language has the sole status of being the official language in Nigeria and the country's language of instruction. However, mastering the language requires the use of words shaping how we express our thoughts and ideas. Words remain the foundation for communication, hence mastering it goes beyond the classroom requirement as it remains a skill to sharpen the mind.
Please come on stage.
This was evident at the Spelling Bee Nigeria finals held at the residence of the U.S. Consul General in Lagos.
This is the better way of exposing children to language. It's fun, you make it light, but they're learning. So these discourses will now bring to bear, I believe, on national policy on how to even teach the English language. We're hoping that this is where at the local government and maybe at the state level, we begin to look at how are we teaching our children the English language, or how can we do it better?
From different states, the contestants came hoping to spell their way to victory.
C-A-F-E, Cafe.
After several vigorous rounds, 11-year-old Amazing Grace Salami emerged as a winner, beating over 200 participants and 32 finalists who started the competition.
If you ask me, it was too much preparation because I did not go to school the whole of this week. And so I was at home learning more words. I could not play at all. And then I have exams next week, so I need to now go home and go and study for that one.
However, international competitions such as these give students opportunities to portray Nigeria in a good light while playing a crucial role in fostering bilateral ties between both countries.
Only by working together can we develop the peace and prosperity of Nigeria and the United States, and getting youth involved and active and is wanting to do better is one way to make that happen.
Some parents emphasize the importance of hard work and preparation while highlighting the significance of creative learning for children.
She put in a lot of effort. Despite her schoolwork, she put in a lot of effort. And what we just did, we tried to support her, the entire family, her father, her siblings, grandma, everyone. So it was more like a community effort.
Parents and school administrators were encouraged to engage children in activities such as spelling bee competitions to find other children like Amazing Grace, who will be representing Nigeria at the 2025 Scripps National Spelling Bee in the U.S. In Lagos for News Central, Omolola Ololade.
Badagry.io, a global tech company, launches a new tech hub as it makes its first expansion to Nigeria. It hopes to achieve some goals with this initiative, including creating a pipeline of skilled tech talent, promoting entrepreneurship and innovation, and contributing to Nigeria's economic growth and development. News Central correspondent Igbalani Omoni was at the official launch and filed this report.
The importance of having tech-driven skills in today's economy cannot be overstated. With the rise of automation and digital transformation, workers need to be equipped with skills that are relevant to the future job market. Hence, the launch of this tech hub, where Nigerian youths will have access to cutting-edge tech training. The hub will offer hands-on project-based courses equipping young people with the skills they need to thrive in this digital age and time.
We know that there's lots of talent in Africa, but the talent are not being tapped enough. So we've had tremendous success building talent that are able to work remotely for organizations, both locally in Nigeria and internationally. But we've decided to take steps further by having a physical hub.
A hub is going to serve as a principal location for our learners, those learners on Badagry.io and externs, but also serve as an innovation hub. So individuals who are interested in technology, who require community or space to kind of network, to get together, to share ideas, access the internet, and just really take in the brewing technology energy that's in Nigeria at the moment.
According to the founders, Nigerian youth will gain access to in-demand skills such as artificial intelligence, data science, amongst others. The hub will also leverage AI-powered tools to enhance the learning experience. Students will have access to personalized learning pathways, real-time feedback and collaboration tools.
And we also introduced AI-specific learning into all the different pathways we do, because we really do see a convergence between doing almost everything with AI.
It is heavily project-based, and people are able to leverage the AI technology to get instant feedback on the work that they do and get scored, which is what we are leveraging on heavily to ensure that people go through this process and have proof of skills hiring.
For the government, the initiatives align with the national agenda to promote digital literacy and entrepreneurship.
It's not enough for us to just say that, we're implementing with the partners. For us, we also want to be able to strengthen these organizations. We want to be able to unlock policies that allow the enabling environments that will require organizations in the education technology sector, but also other sectors to thrive, which is why the Nigerian Digital Economy Bill, which the Honorable Minister is spearheading, kicked off last year and has gone to all states in the country. I think there's just a few more steps left after the bill passed the first reading to then be able to go into the second reading. And this bill, alongside the Startup Act bill and a couple of the other policies that the government is actively implementing, spearheaded by the Honorable Minister, are focused on creating these opportunities to be able to enable more innovation hubs like this to be able to thrive.
With initiatives like these, Badagry.io and Extent Hub believes Nigeria's future looks brighter than ever. In Lagos for News Central, Igbalani Omoni.
Coming up, Sudanese seek refuge underground in besieged Darfur city as conflict rages. We'll tell you more after the break. Join us again. The news continues in West Africa, where Burkina Faso's military rulers have dismissed accusations that the army had committed abuses against civilians in the west of the country earlier this week. Earlier in the week, social media accounts had carried videos showing dozens of bloodied bodies strewn on the ground with no apparent signs of life, their hands and feet bound. Most of them appear to be women, children, and the elderly people. According to a local source, entire families of ethnic Fulanese were killed in the Solenzo area between March 10 and 11 by soldiers and allied civilian militias. On Friday, Human Rights Watch called on the military leaders who seized power in Burkina Faso in September 2022 to investigate the killings. It counted 58 bodies in the videos, but believes the death toll could be higher. Chadian President Mahamad Idris Deby Itno welcomed Marine Le Pen, president of the far-right National Rally Group in the French National Assembly in Amjaras. Le Pen said the visit is for Chad, its security development and its sovereignty. She visits the African country for 3 days, from Friday to Sunday, accompanied by vice president of her party and a senior unelected official from the party's parliamentary group. Now, during the visit, she met with the president of Chad.
Pour le Tchad, pour sa sécurité, pour son développement, pour sa souveraineté. Il y a une continuité et je pense que le président et moi-même partageons cette vocation à améliorer la situation de nos peuples respectifs. Je suis évidemment consciente qu'il y a eu, comme on dirait en France, un coup de froid dans ces relations, mais l'amitié entre le Tchad et la France est une amitié très ancienne.
In the east of the continent and in the besieged city of El Fasher, Sudan, residents are seeking refuge underground as conflict rages between the Sudanese army and the paramilitary Rapid Support Forces. Nafisa Malik, A 45-year-old mother of 5 takes shelter in a cramped hole beneath the earth, shielding her children from the constant artillery fire and air strikes. With thousands of homes destroyed, many residents have created makeshift bunkers, some hastily dug and reinforced with sandbags. Muhammad Ibrahim, who lost neighbors to the violence, dug his own shelter to protect his family. The ongoing war, which has claimed tens of thousands of lives, continues to devastate the region. Outside the African continent, a devastating nightclub fire in Kochani, North Macedonia, has claimed at least 59 lives and injured over 155 people. The blaze erupted early on Sunday at the Paul's Club during a concert by popular hip-hop duo DNK, attended by around 1,500 people. Witnesses say sparks from pyrotechnic devices ignited the ceiling, causing the fire to spread rapidly. Many concert-goers, unaware of the danger, continued watching as flames erupted above them. In the chaos that followed, panic ensued, leading to tragic crashes. The victims, aged 14 to 24, were mostly young concert-goers. Authorities have issued arrest warrants for 4 people in connection with the fire as investigations continue. In business, the Nigerian Navy has announced the seizure of 13,800 litres of petrol and 71 bags of foreign rice in multiple operations along Badagry creeks in Lagos. The goods were intercepted by the forward operating base, Badagry, of the Nigerian Customs Service, according to a statement issued on Sunday by the commanding officer of FOB Badagry, Navy Captain Oyeleye Omotayo. Omotayo noted that the seizures occurred between March 7 and 14. As the price war in the downstream oil sector continues, leading to recurrent reductions in the price of premium motor spirit, commonly known as petrol, oil marketers have resorted to slashing the volume of the fuel purchase amid mounting losses from the price drop. The price war, primarily between Dangote Petroleum Refinery and Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation Limited, began in November 2024 when the African largest private refinery lowered the price from 990 naira to 970 naira per litre of petrol. Dangote further reduced it to 899 naira per litre, citing the need to provide relief for Nigerians during the holiday season. Days after Dangote's move, NNPCL also slashed its ex-depot price of the product from 1,040 naira to 899 naira per litre. Now, according to the Petroleum Products Retail Owners of Association of Nigeria. In sports, Eniola Bolaji cemented her status as the world's second-ranked para-badminton player, securing back-to-back gold medals within 2 weeks. She dominated Turkey's Halim Yildiz 2-0, that's 21-7, 21-10, in the SL3 Women's Final at the Spanish Para-Badminton International 2025 in Toledo on the 16th of March. Bolaji's path to victory included wins over India's Sanjana Kumari Yildiz in an earlier round and Ukraine's Oksana Koziba in the semi-finals. The triumph follows her gold at the Spanish Para-Badminton International in Vitoria. Now, Badminton Federation of Nigeria President Francis Obi hailed her as Africa's most decorated player with 12 international gold medals. He also highlighted Nigeria's upcoming All-African Para-Badminton and Abia International Championships as key for the sport's growth.
By winning this tournament, because this is my second time I'm going to win this tournament, so I feel so good and proud of myself. After this tournament, I want to go back and train very hard to win more tournaments. tournament and to be able to win the World Championship. My expectation now is to go to more tournaments to qualify for the World Championship, and this is going to involve more funding and support from the Commission and the Federation. And I want to thank them for being there for me always.
Chelsea's Champions League hopes took a hit with a lackluster 1-0 defeat to Arsenal at the Emirates, while Fulham stunned Tottenham 2-0 on Sunday. Mikel Merino's first half header secured Arsenal's win, strengthening their hold on second place and closing the gap to Liverpool to 12 points. Chelsea, without the ill Cole Palmer, struggled in attack and remained fourth, with several teams closing in. Tottenham, coming off a European win, suffered another post-European setback as Fulham dominated at Craven Cottage. Rodrigo Muniz opened the scoring in the 78th minute before Ryan Sessegnon sealed the win against his former club. Fulham now sit 8, 4 points off the top 4 as Spurs continue to struggle after midweek fixtures. And that's all at this hour. But before we go, here's another look at some of our major stories. We told you that Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan has alleged plot to arrest her upon her return to Nigeria. We also told you that EFCC has recovered 365.4 billion naira in 2024 and secured 4,111 convictions. Finally, you heard that Sudanese are seeking refuge underground in besieged Darfur city as conflict rages. Send your eyewitness report to the WhatsApp number on the screen. Do follow us on social media. We are at News Central TV. You can watch News Central live on DSTV channel 422, GoTV channel 23, Star Times channel 274, Avo TV, and YouTube. Many thanks for watching. I'm Darshan Usman.